What's going on, guys? This is Mr. DeLorian to a brand new video. Today what we're doing is breaking down reviewing issue 190 of the Walking Dead comics. So there's really one major plot point in this entire issue, which is basically kind of the entire again, I don't want to say takeover, but the kind of the takeover is the word of the Commonwealth. So let's hop right into the issue. So the issue kind of begins from where we left off in the last issue of basically Mercer talking to Rick about Rick taking over the Commonwealth and basically being the new leader besides Governor Milton. But in this issue, Rick's kind of just I can't, there has to be something else that could be done because I can't take over. And Mercer says then there has to be something that, there needs to be something done very, very soon. We can't wait any longer. And then next we kind of get a shot or a strip of basically Eugene and the one girl arriving back at the Commonwealth, or at least a hill near the Commonwealth, basically looking over it going, what the hell happened here? Because as you guys know, in a couple of issues, I think in the issue before last issue or the last issue, there was this massive explosion that created obviously a bunch of fires in the Commonwealth, and obviously Eugene, this one girl, basically looking over the Commonwealth going, what the fuck happened here? And actually the girl that that's with Eugene and everything says something very interesting, saying the day has finally come or something like that, basically meaning this day was coming for a very long time where everyone would finally kind of revolt against the Commonwealth. I think she even mentions a revolution, which I'm not 100% sure, but the next we kind of get a couple of strips of basically Michonne looking for her daughter Elodie, I think. She basically runs into a guard, asks if I could go find it and everything, because obviously the guard's you guys need to be inside, everyone needs to be off the streets because of the explosion, because obviously the guard is out looking for danger or whatever. But Michonne ends up getting past him and goes running to this one what kind of house, I think. It ends up finding her daughter with a bunch of friends, and the daughter and her friends are actually armed with guns and everything. They're fully ready for the revolution. They're all yeah, we're ready to take on the Commonwealth, we're ready to take over. But obviously Michonne disarms all of them and says, you can't do that, you guys wouldn't even last, you guys wouldn't even stand a chance against the Commonwealth army. So eventually, after all of that and everything, Michonne ends up leaving them to just sit and wait, and I guess wait for the revolution to end. Then we kind of go back to getting some shots of Eugene and the girl staying on the hill, but something very interesting happens, which is they start hearing some weird noises behind them. So they turn around, and what is it? A fucking massive horde all behind them. Then we kind of get back to some shots of Rick and Mercer in the streets of the Commonwealth with I think one of the Commonwealth, I think Governor Milton's kind of sideman, kind of getting taken into custody or whatever by the Commonwealth Revolution side at least. But then in the next couple of strips, we get a shot of basically Eugene, the girl, running into the Commonwealth, basically saying, hey Rick, we need to tell you something very important. So they all run up to Rick and everything, and they're basically saying there's a herd on the way, a massive herd full of thousands and thousands of walkers. Now obviously Mercer and Rick are basically stunned. They're wait, how could this have happened? Obviously the explosion probably triggered all of them to come this way. So basically I think Carl and a bunch of his friends kind of come around the corner and sees them all talking. Michonne sees Carl, grabs him and Rick and everyone else off the streets, and they basically go lock themselves in this, I think, gigantic, it looks like a museum, but it's this gigantic building, and basically wait for the herd to come through. And basically they say oh, don't make any noise, so they don't hear, so they can just pass through. We don't need to do anything. But then interestingly enough, as they're all cooped up inside this building, you hear this loud horn outside of the big building. And who is it? It is Maggie and a couple of other actually a bunch of other people, technically a bunch of other people outside this building, in the Commonwealth streets, basically saying we need to get this herd, because they know the herd's coming, because I think that's the reason that they were coming to the Commonwealth in the first place, is because they knew about the herd. So basically they basically say that they're going to wait for the herd to break through the gates, and they're going to lead them all away with basically a horn, just leading them away with noise. But then as the herds are kind of coming through the streets, this one idiot, basically Governor Milton's, I guess, sideman or whatever, goes up to the window, makes a bunch of very unnecessary noises, and basically causes the herd to start going towards the building, and Rick and everyone else basically arm up and say, okay, this guy fucked up the plan, now we need to fight all the walkers. So all the walkers start heading for the basically big building, and Mercer and his men all burst out, start killing all the walkers, because this is a huge herd, keep in mind, it's all in the streets. So Mercer and his men basically burst out, start killing all the walkers, and then Carl, Michonne, and Rick all follow behind him, start killing some walkers, and then Rick basically welcomes Maggie to the Commonwealth because they kill the walkers off, and Rick just walks into Maggie saying, what are you doing here? This is really cool, welcome to the Commonwealth, because I don't think Maggie's ever been to the Commonwealth. I don't think so in the comics. They basically have a bit of a conversation, a bit of dialogue, and then then Rick looks to the side and his eyes go wide. And then you know who it is? It's Governor Milton with tons of her soldiers behind her. She basically says to Rick and basically everyone that's, I guess, on the revolution side, basically saying, you all think I'm blind. I know I know what's happening. I see it. I know what you guys are plotting. And Rick basically says, what? No, we don't know what you're talking about. We were doing nothing. We were just trying to help you guys. And then it happens. Governor Milton basically sounds the alarms and says, attack. And that strip is just absolutely, this one huge picture of Governor Milton just saying attack is all you need to get you hyped for the next issue. And that's basically where the issue ends, which is, it's really cool because it basically shows that next issue is going to be absolutely, like, stunning. So on to the review. So this issue was probably the best we've had in such a long time because the Commonwealth have kind of been a bit boring in my opinion from what I've read in the comics, but this like issue basically had so many cool factors to it, such as the herd, the controversy inside the Commonwealth, basically the whole like them all taking over. Michonne and her daughter actually had a pretty interesting like, you know, scene together, and just the herd actually made it so much more interesting because obviously they've been like inside the walls for so long that they haven't seen many, like, if anything, a huge herd before. Well, they've seen a herd before, but not in like a very long time. And also basically Rick and like Governor Milton's kind of, I guess, confrontation or whatever kind of made like a very interesting. So yeah, this issue was probably the best we've had in a while, and it was definitely a very good issue. I do recommend it. I cannot wait till the next one, issue 191, I think. So if you guys did enjoy this video, if you guys did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to leave your opinions down below what you guys think will happen, your opinions on this issue, and yep, I'll see you guys later. Peace, my amigos, and peace out.